Hi, Meredith.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Is your office in Montclair?
We're in Milburn.
Milburn. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to I'm just gonna check my email really quick
Go ahead.
because I gotten an email that this was canceled,
I
but is
think it was a pocket delete. It
oh
my phone was in my pocket.
that's good.
Um,
I just emailed that because I just saw that, right? And I was like, you know what, let me try the link and make sure. And then so
I
I
had
think
to.
Nancy's gonna
I actually got an email that it was deleted and I had to recover it. It was kind of really weird. It was. Yeah. Did you ever have like a YouTube video go off in your pocket, or you dialed someone?
yes, yeah,
This
yeah.
tape. I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to
No
do this. I
problem.
know we are all, really interested in learning more about what's available, but
Yep. What kind of maybe we'll start, but um what's the population that you work with primarily?
so school age up through, college age young adults
Okay.
typically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Brian. How are
Hi
you?
Nancy, how you doing? Good.
Good. So Zena is driving. She had a child care emergency. I told her to hop on later if she can, but
All
she was
right,
like,
okay.
good notes. I said, no, Brian's recording it. We're all
I'm
set.
gonna record it. Yeah. So what I mean, tell me what are you interested in seeing? Let me just get some or what and with the clients that you work with, what are the biggest issue? I mean, what are the biggest issues that you think technology might be able to assist? Then I could kind of show you some new stuff.
Great. So I have two main questions.
Go
One
ahead.
is what is the best way for families to engage with you? How do you help them?
Yeah.
Who could we send you? I sort of give out your name and
Okay.
then I
All
don't know
right.
what happens, but
I mean, I
go ahead.
pretty much I work with kids. I would say kindergarten through through college age. As you know, Nancy, as you know, I do most of my work is contracted by the schools, but oftentimes I do work with families. So you can give family my email or phone number, and then we could work out the arrangements. I would say that probably 80 to 90% of the students I work with are students with learning disabilities, dyslexia, issues around writing, ADHD, dysgraphia. It's a big one. And then I do work with students with developmental disabilities, cognitive disabilities, especially younger students in elementary school who difficulty writing, reading. So there's a lot of tools for those students to enable them to like use word walls and sort of kind of help them begin the writing process.
Right.
And so that so pretty much families can engage me that way.
Great.
It's not an issue, but I mean I have to say the technology over the last 5 years, even during COVID, has just made leaps and bounds in terms of what's possible.
That's great.
It's just a matter of like everything else is always costs involved in getting schools to want to purchase it. But I mean, so like this tool is Orcam Read. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think we saw your email or flyer about that. I
Yeah.
was curious
So
about it.
this is incredible technology. Just to give you an idea, like 25 years ago, I saw this. I actually saw Ray Kurzweil, who developed the Kurzweil reading system. He had basically a digital camera and a smartphone actually duct taped together, and he took a picture with the camera, and then he did this. This is now in here. I'm just gonna put this under a dock camera so you can see this. Let me share my
In
screen.
terms of who we see, all of the above, everything you just said is who we see. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, all of it.
So I'm gonna share this. So share two, share. Okay. Do you see the book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can see how small that is. And so what I'm going to do is just to make it actually a little bit easier is this can read both printed pages, but it can also read a digital screen. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking, there's a little, basically a shutter button here, and basically all I'm doing is taking a picture of the screen. So I'm just gonna, oh my God. First I have to turn it on, technology. So you just turn it on. Now the nice thing about this, it doesn't store any of the content. And so it just takes a picture, it reads it. It doesn't need Wi-Fi to be utilized. And now all I'm doing, I'm just going to take the start yet. There we go. So it's starting up.
Does it have a little speaker, or does it attach the
Yeah, it has a
headphone?
little speaker. Let me see if I can just. I'm just gonna. It just took a picture of it.
Okay.
Spent the morning.
Can you hear that?
And they set off along the third.
So it's just,
Wow, that's amazing. And it's a pretty good voice too.
yes, and it can be and there's ways to navigate it as well. There's also students, I mean, if this is intended for basically students with dyslexia, but there is a like a tripod that this can be affixed to, so students can just slide the book underneath, hit the shutter, take the picture, and then listen to it. You can use a headset like with a RCA mini jack, or you can use Bluetooth AirPods, so students can have privacy with that. But it's pretty much that easy to use. And if you have students even with I would say low vision, who have visual issues, this can be utilized as well. I mean,
This is amazing, because the audiobooks have been so clunky for students, especially not being able to use them kind of on the fly.
Right.
So I love that this can just be in your pocket, and whenever you need to read something,
Correct.
you can
Correct. And this could read not only books, but it can read, like, if there was a a PowerPoint slide or a Google slide, it can also read a computer screen, which is nice.
Is this something that, do you find that schools are pretty open to having students? So the second point that I wanted to make is that I know that you like to get involved with school districts, but everything with a district is a heavier lift than with a parent who just wants to pay for things. So
right.
So do you find that schools are pretty receptive to this particular gadget for allowing students to use them?
This one's a little bit more of a challenge because it's about $2,000. But I did actually, one school did purchase this for a student with low vision, and it seems to be working out really well for him.
Okay.
This was a middle school student. It depends on the, it always depends on the school district, but tremendous return, in terms of ease of use and what the capabilities are. And again, because you don't need Wi-Fi, it makes it that much more powerful a solution.
And you said you can take a picture of a screen too, like if there was a Google Doc that they needed help reading.
Correct.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Or, it could be a worksheet. As long as it's not handwritten, it can basically read it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So that
I'm sorry. I just was wondering, beyond the cost, what are some of the other barriers to implementation for school districts, or is cost really the major one? Is there training issues or tech issues in terms of if there were?
The nice part is there's no connectivity needed for this, and there's no storage of data, which schools sometimes get get a little ruffled with. Just some basic training, but it's pretty much it's a pretty quick. For students that are technologically savvy, it's a pretty quick training for this.
Okay. Okay.
Great.
So that's one tool. I'm just gonna show you some new ones. This one requires, I just have to link my phone so you can see that. So I'm going to do it. So this device is not on the market yet, but is coming out. So what this is a digital, it's a digital audio tape recorder, basically, but it marries to an app, which I'll show you in a second. So this is my iPhone. Okay, so this is the like the word applaud. This is called Plaud Notes. So the student can come into a classroom again. Probably, I mean, there are issues with audio recordings at the high school level. That's not to say that every high school won't allow it, but I mean, I have had issues with schools not allowing audio recording. But in a college classroom, the student can come in with this, and then I'm going to press the record button. Which it just did, it's red. And now you can see on my iPhone that it's recording the audio. Now, one of the really powerful features of this, so imagine student goes into a lecture hall, turns this on, and they're maybe in a history class or a science class. The teacher is speaking for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So what this will do is this will automatically transcribe the audio into editable text, so the student can see basically all the notes in a text format. And then what it does is it marries this to the new AI called ChatGPT, and it will summarize the notes or the themes in that session. So you can imagine what this tool will be like, especially for students with attentional problems, students with motor difficulties, and students who have difficulty simultaneously processing information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this now just to kind of show you. I'm just going to save it.
And it saves both the transcription and the summaries?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so you can see it's, when I click new, you can see it's still transcribing. It takes a little bit of, I transcribed actually a television show, and it a 45-minute show took about 2.5 minutes to transcribe. So you can see, here's the transcription.
Wow.
Pretty good, huh?
Yes.
Much better than my voicemail transcription.
And then here, and that's the summary using ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Bulleted points. Look at that.
And then that's all editable text, so I can take it and copy it and paste it and do what I want with it. They also added, it's a little small, but there's also a mind map so you can see it more visually.
We need this for our testing reports, Meredith, so we can record the parent meeting, and then it's just going to write the testing report for us. That's amazing.
So now, if you were consulting with a student on how to use this effectively to help support them in like a college setting, would you be recommending things like, so you're in class, you're still actively engaged and taking note, like it's not replacing that portion of the
right. The other thing I didn't show you is that students, I mean, while they have their smartphone out, they can also be bookmarking some of the audio as well. So they could do that. But a lot of, some of the other services that some colleges are allowing students to use, something like Otter AI, which does something similar, but just uses the phone. I mean, there are some advantages to this technology because you're using this as the audio recording device, and then you're using this to process. But Otter AI will do the same thing from your smartphone. It will record, and then it will do what this just did. So there are options out there.
And would the device need to be, fairly close to the speaker then?
So it uses, so basically it doesn't, this could be close to the source of the audio, and then what will happen, it will resync with the phone. So it doesn't have to be, it uses Bluetooth technology to speak.
Right. Yeah, I meant like the lecturer. So it would need to be close to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
person.
I would say, fairly close. It does have some other, it has some modes for some, in terms of sensitivity, in terms of the kind of environment that you're in, that you can set different profiles for that. And again, students can also do things like, take digital audio recorders into the classroom, and then using a transcription service download the audio to that transcription service and do what I just did. I mean, this just streamlines the
You
process.
know what the price point for this will be?
I want to say somewhere about $150.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
And
definitely getting one.
the only additional fee is there will be probably a monthly fee for the chat GPT. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, so, you could see, how far some of this technology has come. The other technology, more so maybe for, kids in elementary or middle school. So there are a lot of these kinds of devices. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm just gonna close out of that. Yeah. So there's a lot of these personal scanning devices that students can scan text and then have it read back to them. Let me show you this one. So this uses Bluetooth technology. And so I just want to show you. So this actually uses software, an app. This is an app. This is app based, and it's going to connect. It can connect to a Mac, a PC, a Chromebook, or even your iPhone. And so what I'm doing is. So it's connecting to my computer, and we're just going to select there. So now it's connected, and now what I'm going to do is, let's see if I just make this window a little bit smaller. Let me just get rid of this. So now I could take my book over here. Now this is unique. They actually have especially for those students that have motor issues, they have a guide. And I'm just going to turn on the read live. Let's see if we get that. And so the feet of this go in it and allow the student to track the information.
Crazy. If they go crazy, then we will be dead.
So you can see it popped the text into this window. You can see the window over here?
Mhm.
Okay. And what's nice about this application, so the student can, this provides text to speech. And then in the settings, you can make all kinds of changes. Let's do this. So what's nice too is if you're working with students that need larger text, you can see how large we can make this. We can also change. I'm gonna expand this so you can see. We can also
and the text is editable. They can edit inside that text document.
Correct. Yeah, and you can see here if you have students that have certain visual perceptual difficulties, you can see we can actually change word spacing, things of that sort.
I just had 3 parents this same morning, 3 independent sets of parents tell me that on the kids' Kindle they had changed the spacing, and the kid was like loving it. And it was just funny that I heard three parents saying that today about the Kindle.
Right. So let me see.
Just changing the spacing and the font.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you can do all these kinds of things, and so you can see now it's impacted that. Now this is also a talking word processor, so students, if they want, can actually use this to. Let's try this. This is a talking word processor. So you have a talking word processor built in. Everything is readable. It's also I can also go in here and I can, this is using the dyslexia font. So you also have a dictionary, and the dictionary talks.
With a demonstrative or a possessive, those who have died, often with the time when.
So everything is accessible. Again, Mac, PC, Chromebook, Android, iPhone, which is really nice. And of course, you can change all the settings, and these are for the most part high quality voices that are coming off the cloud, which is really nice. So if you have students that have visual perceptual issues, this can be a really good a good solution, because you can really customize the setting, which is really nice. Now the other thing too is, if you're working with students where English is not their primary language, let me just move this here. You can see that if I wanted to,
Oh, wow. That's great.
I can I can go to, let's do French. So the student can have English on this side, French on this side. And then the other part too is, when it reads it, it actually reads it as if you're a French-speaking individual.
Seront morts. C'est un.
Wow.
Yeah. So this could be a nice feature, especially if you're working, in school districts where, English maybe is not the primary language. You have students from foreign countries that are learning another language, and so they can have English.
Or when students are studying a second language and
they
they
could
need to
use it.
hear it, right?
Yeah.
They can read the text, like if they're reading a French book, and then can
Correct.
hear it and work on their pronunciation and oral listening skills. There's so many uses of this. It's great.
Yeah. And again, it's, again, you could even, text can be brought into like an iPad or an iPhone. It doesn't really make a difference. So it uses
Wow.
Bluetooth technology. So that's a relatively new product. It's actually an Israeli company. I've been working with them, and they're coming out with a standalone product that will look more like, I'll show you. So a host of these came out. So this is just to give you, let's see, I got to get this out of the way. So that they're working on a product like this. This has a touch screen, and you'll be able to scan the text, and the student will be able to have text-to-speech support. But this is a standalone machine. It won't be using the app. Everything will be built into this device.
That's great.
Yeah. So let me just see if I see this. Let's see what was. Okay. So I'll just show you this one fast. What's nice is that they're actually working on the feature set now. So generally, it has text-to-speech. It generally has a dictionary support as well, and sometimes syllabication, and sometimes phonic support will do that. So let's see. So, but the students like this because it has a touch screen. It's basically touch screen, and then some of these also use Bluetooth or a physical headset.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you can see text reader. So let me just take this.
Easy. If they go crazy, then we'll be dead.
And you can speak. You have the ability to customize the speed and to some degree the size of the font. But these are nice tools because they are all basically, you can see their touch screen, which is nice. So students enjoy using that. So those these devices, there's a lot of these coming out, and they will continue to come out, which is.
Can I ask a question about, so that Orcam Read had a nicer, like a smoother voice, but
Yes.
did that one also, that one didn't, oh my God, transcribe into text, right? That one was just a reader?
Yeah, the Orcam does not store any of the text anywhere. It just takes a picture and it does the optical character recognition, and it reads it aloud. So there's no
Got it.
there's no storage.
Okay.
of it. Yeah.
It is a nicer voice though, right? It's a
Yes,
better
yeah.
for a reader.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're working. If you're working with students that this is kind of more low tech, but it could have great utility. This is part of that Rocketbook system.
Yeah.
So students basically, will write their notes, and then at the bottom of the Rocketbook are these icons that basically are destinations. So if you're working with kids who may have executive functioning, and you want them to be able to kind of store their notes and organize them basically in the cloud in a Google folder or things like that, this could be a good low cost solution. I mean, again, students have to have pretty good handwriting, but what's nice is then you have at the bottom, maybe a little hard to see over here, but at the bottom, there are basically 7 icons. And these icons are all destinations. So you can preset these destinations for a folder in Google Drive that's social studies, a folder that's for science, folders for foreign language. And then what happens is the student takes their notes, they use the Rocketbook scanning application. Whatever destination they click off, it automatically gets filed in that folder that they can then go back and use it. So again, for the student that wants to try something a little bit different, get a little bit more organized, this can be a great solution. Then when the student's done, you take a little water, you spritz it on it, and you clean it, and then you can reuse the page. Again, if your student has pretty good handwriting, it does have handwriting recognition, so it can transcribe the notes. But as I say, your mileage may vary depending upon the student. But again, for science, whether it's a diagram or whatever, the application is quite good. And what's nice is if you have kids that have been using their, if they're allowed to use their iPhone to take pictures of things, they oftentimes, what happens is it just drops in the photo library, and then they can't find it. It's hard to organize. This organizes everything for them. And then if you ever have a scenario where you have students that need that, but the teachers are using, this would be on whiteboards. So these are basically, these are Rocketbook beacons. And so what happens is the teacher could put these are fairly inexpensive. The teacher would put basically these little triangles on the whiteboard, and then the student can use the scanning app, take a picture, and do the same thing, decide where they want it to go. So this would be on a standard whiteboard. These run around $12, and they're also they're reusable, so you can kind of peel them off and then move them to another classroom if you had to. Some of the universities are using this, they're putting them on all their whiteboards so that students can take their, basically take a photograph of the note and file it accordingly.
How does this, I'm always curious about the Smart Pen and like LiveScribe, innovations. How do you think that fits into, like, what does that do relative to all of these other programs? And do you still like that one?
I've been a little down on LiveScribe because they really haven't, I mean, they came out with I could show you.
I feel like it was cool. And when you first showed it to us at the Montclair group, it was using the little notebooks. And then I think I heard you needed to have a gadget with you in order to sync it. And it sounded like it got a little.
So this is the new one. I'm a little down on them because they just don't provide really good support. Some of it's been buggy, some of the software. I've actually gone to using one of the competitors, which is the Neo Smart Pen. Still uses special paper, which is not not that expensive. And you can still record audio with this one as well. It interacts a little bit differently, but I just find this platform to be more reliable and also better supported. But it depends. I mean, I still think you have some students going off to school with this. It's kind of, you can see it's kind of clunky. This looks like a Bic, and they keep coming out with new pens. So this is a new Neo, and it looks like I'll show you. This looks like a professional. This looks like a professional pen.
Yeah.
And what's nice too is they just added gel ink to this, so the writing experience is really nice. And you can record audio. Just the audio, it's a little bit different. It's not as finite in the time stamping, but you can record audio into the note and listen and play it back.
So it still has the feature where, like, if you took 4 pages of notes, you go back to page 2, tap on it, and it plays just that segment?
Correct.
Does it also transcribe and upload into text that is editable, or no?
So I'll show you.
Okay. Because I like the little discrete recording device. My high schoolers like it when they don't get permission to do it, and they do it illegally.
Okay. All right, so let me see. Let me just do that fast. So with the Neo Smart Pen, you would definitely you need, well, just to take notes. It doesn't have to be connected to your smartphone or smart device, but if you're going to use audio, it would need to be connected because it's using basically the microphone off of your smart device.
That's for the Neo Pen.
Yes. So let me just get this. Maybe hopefully see if you can. Oh, there we go. Let me see if we can get that. Let me turn on another light. Sometimes, let me turn the brightness down on this. There we go. Okay. So you can see that?
Yes.
Okay, so all I have to do is tap on this over here, and you see it says transcribe.
Yep.
And there it is.
Wow.
You see how fast it is. So it does a really good job in terms of transcription. Now I can take this and click on that, and then I could email it. I can copy it, and then paste it into my note or whatever I want to do.
Got it.
With it, which is really nice.
And how long can it record for, would you say?
I have to, it's more dependent on how much memory you have in your phone. Than there's nothing, it doesn't really, it basically everything is happening in the phone. So
it records into the phone.
Into the phone. Yeah. So pretty much if I were to, so this is one of, there's a company in actually, in Mexico that sells this solution. It's the Neo Smart Pen, but they brand it themselves. Let me turn it on. So we just transfer that. And I have to say that this has been really reliable with the Bluetooth connectivity. So, like, for example, when I tap on here, it automatically opened that page for me, and you can see that. You can see it's live. What it's it's doing. And then if I want, I can come here and I can hit start. So now I'm actually recording audio, so a student could, easily take notes. And this is using gel ink, so it is a really nice experience.
So they can go back in time and add to that recording in that spot.
So here's so I just want to show you that its interface is a little bit different. It's not clunky, but you can see with the Live Scribe, if I did that, I'd be able to go back and actually tap on the text.
Right.
Here, I just click on here and I hit the play button. So, but it's the same kind of experience. I mean, you can see. So a student could, easily take notes.
Wow.
This is using gel ink, so it is a really nice. So I mean,
so cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I just think that it's better supported. They update the software, and they come out with new products. So and I like the way the pen looks, and they have different. I have all the different pen models. I mean, but that looks like a more professional one. This is another one that they just did in collaborated with a large pen company in Germany called Lamy, who makes fountain pens and pens. So they have lots of different, different pens that are available, which is nice. And like I said, the other one looks like almost like a size of a Bic. So,
Yep.
Depending upon how comfortable things are in your hand, you have there's a selection of different pens that you can.
So do you work with the student and the parents to figure out, I mean, there's so many options, like how
Yes.
are they not overwhelmed by all of do you sort of like figure out which thing to start with for a particular student, what's going to work
Yes.
best? Do they trial it
Yeah.
out? Like how do you do that?
We trial it out. I mean, sometimes, depending upon the tool, I might be able to loan it out for a while, or we can maybe even find the state has a loan library for more expensive things. We might be able to, possibly for something like the OrCam, we might be able to borrow it for a while, so there are some options for, trialing it. And then some of the software, can be trialed, as well. So let me just minimize this.
I'd love to see also some like organization, executive functioning, ADHD things, because that's a huge population of ours.
Yeah.
And I was also wondering for math too, what.
Oh, yeah, math.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold it. Let me just wanted to show you.
I see a lot of application for this for many students,
Yeah, absolutely.
with special needs or not, but.
Yeah, I just
Yep.
wanted to this
And
this is
myself.
more for
Yeah.
this. What I want to show you is another, probably I would say, let's open another. Okay, let me see if I can find that. The other thing I wanted to show you is it's in another screen. Close that. Let me close this. It's called Glean, which is used extensively at the college. Here it is. It's used extensively at the college level, and a lot of colleges actually give the students a license. So this is what Glean is. It allows students to basically import their PowerPoints, Google Slides, or PDFs into this side of the window here. And then what happens, as I'll show you, let me just, and then in the middle here would be the ability to basically attach the lecturer's audio with that slide. So,
Wow.
let me just see if I can pause. So if I hit the record button and I'm going to post this slide. So in this slide, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of smart pens. You can see they're pretty light. You can review audio. They're good for free-form lectures, and they also have handwriting recognition, which is really nice. And it's really important to consider the cost of these devices, and some of the cons might be certainly loss. It's also dependent on the handwriting as well. So as you can see, I'm moving through slide by slide, and then this is the audio that's attached to each one. I'm gonna stop. Oh, I'm gonna stop that. So now you also notice I clicked on some of these icons. So this is important. So the student can also, if they don't want to do anything, they could just basically mark up or add these bookmarks. And then what happens is at any point I can go back in, which is really nice. And it's really important to consider the cost of these devices, and some of the cons might be so the student can listen to the audio associated with that. The other thing too is if they want, you have some other options here. So for the slide, I can also again, this could be after the session, the student wants to bring the text in from the slide itself. I can click on this, and now it pulled in all the slide into the note over here. And then after the session, they can click on transcript, and then what it does is it provides a transcript, and then all this is copyable, editable, pastable. You can do whatever. Students can do whatever they want with it. So typically, with this particular tool, a lot of the colleges are basically issuing licenses to the students, those students that are basically have registered with the Accessibility Center, and then they'll give them a license to use for the semester. And then also the Accessibility Center can also evaluate, and they have a dashboard. They can see who's using it, who's not using it, and whether it's something that they want to consider, allowing the student, to give them a license.
I have a couple of questions. Does this what's the gadget that the kid has in the lecture hall? Is it their computer that is recording, or do they have to have a recording device outside?
It could be that you could be doing this on your iPhone too, but again, computer, again, if they want more, need a little more real estate, a computer would be good sitting up front, or maybe even an external microphone. So you can plug like a USB microphone, so it's facing out toward the lecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the when you said that the colleges are using it and giving you a license, this reminded me of the old fashioned ways. I guess it was to have a designated note taker in the lecture,
Right.
And then bring the notes to the student services place, and then the student who needs it discreetly goes and gets the notes. How is all that done now?
It's done. It's done like this. They basically put this in the hands of the student. The student does everything themselves.
That's great.
Pretty much, yeah. Schools are really looking to move away from note takers and using tools like this, or even if I go to
So Glean is a common enough one that for our college students we could recommend that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you can even go on, if you want, you can go online and look at the university, and they'll say we offer Glean as a
great.
You can see that if you go to the Accessibility Center. Let me see if I can. So this is the. Let me see if I can get on this. So Otter AI does, sort of competes with, the Glean. So pretty much this is another service that's marketed very heavily to colleges. So some colleges actually have licenses that they then allow students to utilize. So you can see there's a big record button here, and if I hit record, it's basically going to transcribe everything. And then depending upon how, if it's, and this can be used with Zoom, Google Meetings, pretty much any of the online meeting spaces. So pretty much if it's a long meeting, at the end, it will basically also summarize and give the student a summary of what the lecture was. So this is a subscription service, and typically large universities will have a campus-wide license, and then they'll issue, a license to a student to use it. That's part of their accommodation.
And what's the comparison or the difference with Glean?
This is purely, or like for the most part, just audio. Just
Oh, it doesn't have the PowerPoint component.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is becoming a popular platform at the college level. And this will integrate. You can integrate this with your Zoom meetings, your Microsoft Team meetings, your whatever platform. So what happens is basically it will know, basically it can turn on automatically once you get into your Zoom meeting or your Google meeting.
And this transcribes also?
Yeah. So if we do that, my account is free, but you can see that it's transcribing. And if you have a long enough meeting, then it will summarize and actually give you some action tasks as well, depending upon the nature of the meeting. This is also used in business. So if there's business meetings, what it will do is summarize, and then it will basically pull out some actionable items for individuals to actually do. So, it's a really powerful tool, and you can see how efficient this is, and also the quality of the transcription is quite good. So Nancy, if you want, you can speak and see what it does.
So what happens did you say this is the same as Otter AI when you mentioned that before?
This is Otter AI. Yes.
This is it. Okay. Yeah, this is what I need for my intake meetings.
Yeah, you could. And this service, if you have an account, you can actually take a digital audio recorder and then upload the audio file, and it will do the same thing. So you can do it.
And you said it can be attached to a Zoom meeting. So as soon as you go into a Zoom meeting, it automatically starts recording?
Correct. Yeah.
Does the other person in the Zoom meeting know that you're recording?
Yes, it will probably say that, Otter AI has joined the meeting. So
okay.
And there's a whole bunch of, I have Fathom, I have a whole bunch of other ones too that connect to my Zoom account, and we'll do the same thing. But it's nice because you can automate it for those students that will forget to use it. It'll automatically basically say, hey, you're in a Zoom meeting, I'm going to turn it on and record your meeting, and then it will automatically do
okay
that. Yeah. Now, do you use Office 365?
No.
You don't?
No, we use
you don't
Gmail,
use Microsoft Word? Yeah. Because I'll just
no, we're Google everything.
Yeah.
I use Word still.
You do? Okay. Because
Yeah.
you might want to what's coming down the pike with the AI in Microsoft is just it's gonna blow your mind.
Oh, I do use Word. I thought you meant
Word?
like,
Okay.
calendar.
So in Word, you can see there's you can't see it because I gotta move it on here. Gotta keep me honest here. So if you have an Office 365 account that's current, you see you have your dictation, so you can basically use that for dictating. But if you click the arrow, you see you have transcribe. So if you had an audio file that you recorded, could be an intake, could be anything you want, all you have to do is upload the audio, and it will transcribe the file for you.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
And they give you, I think it's 300. I don't know. Oh, you can now. Unlimited. Okay, it's unlimited now. So at least during the review, so you can do that. And I'll show you.
That's amazing. Meredith, our reports are going to write themselves.
Yeah.
Like, forget the students. I'm thinking, like, how can we do that?
This is a Sony. Let me put it under my hood here.
I want to hear also what you were going to say about how the AI is going to revolutionize like what's coming down the pike.
Oh, you'll be able to, throw it a table of data and ask it to analyze the data. You'll
Oh
be
my
able to,
God.
you'll be able to respond to emails, threads. It's gonna be just
There's so
freaking-
much conversation among testers. We hate writing reports, all of us.
I
and
know, I used
There's
to do
so
it.
much conversation about this.
I know. So this is a Sony digital audio recorder. I mean, I think it was like $50. But the beauty of this is you just turn it on, you record, and then where is that? You just press this little button here, and you got a USB-A, so you could plug this into your computer, download the audio file, and then upload it to Microsoft, and they'll transcribe it for you.
Oh my goodness.
So, and what's nice is you have the USB-A in here, which is really nice. Because what happens is when I plug this in, it mounts it as a hard drive, and you'll just see your files. They're basically stored as MP3 files, and then you should be good to go.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it is pretty amazing what's
So
happening.
Word, in Word, they're not summarizing and doing the bullet points yet.
Yeah, they will be. They will be.
Yeah.
Will be. Yeah, it's coming. They're actually they're testing it now in some of their corporate some of the top corporations that that have Office 365 accounts, but it's going to be pretty incredible. I mean, let me just see. So if you're not using Bing, this is where the Chat GPT, this is the latest version 4.0. So for example, I can say I don't know, let's do something. Okay, what are some good solutions for students who need help with note taking in, let's do college classes and college classes. And then you can see you can make it, I'll make it informational, I'll make it medium. And
Oh my God. That's crazy.
but you'd be able drop data in Excel, ask it to graph it, drop data, ask it to analyze it. I mean, you'd be able to do all.
And what is this little side thing you have here? How do I get that?
So this is in Microsoft Edge. This is their basically Microsoft's Chrome browser, and then they're using Bing as their engine to run ChatGPT.
Does Chrome have some way to add ChatGPT to it for writing emails?
So right now, what they call their ChatGPT Bard, I guess like Shakespeare, I don't know. So this is what the interface looks like for Google right now. It's probably going to change, but this is what it looks like if you want to experiment with Google's version of ChatGPT. It's not, they're using different language, large language models, so they're feeding it different information coming from different perspective, using different algorithms, different databases, things like that. Yeah.
And what is this for? So of course students are going to figure out how to do this for writing papers and everything else, soon. So
Yeah.
what is what are teachers and educators in schools doing about this? Because I could see the same kids that we're talking about, if they're really savvy,
Yep.
they're going to figure out all.
I mean, schools are trying to figure it out. I mean, I think what's going to happen is that, teachers are going to have to get better about, assigning and looking at intermediate projects so that, they just don't say, on this date, hand in your research paper. They're going to have to show little bits and pieces. I think it could be really helpful for students is that after they've written it, you could put it through ChatGPT and it can check for grammar. It can make it more concise, it can make it more concise. So I think there's ways definitely they can use it. But yeah, you don't want the students to be able to the night before just say, hey, write me a paper about the contract between these two.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's sort of amazing how I haven't, ventured into this territory yet. I feel like I'll get sucked in and never come back on. But my husband had a coworker who his friend at work was leaving. One coworker was leaving, the other guy
Right.
wrote an email, goodbye email. And my husband said to the guy who wrote it, that was a really beautiful email. It was so, like emotional and attuned and so specific to the guy.
And
And his reaction, he started laughing, and my husband's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, did I embarrass you?" And he's like, "No, that was ChatGPT." He's like, "How did you do that? It sounded like your voice. It sounded so natural."
yeah.
And so the guy was saying, the reason I bring it up now is because he said you get better at using it, right? So the AI is learning from you, and you
Right.
also are learning, like, write an email for an engineer who's 30 years old, who's been with the company 8
Correct.
years, and it just
Right.
spits out a very personalized, beautifully written. He said he had to minimally edit it.
Right. Yeah, you could say, write it in the style, certain style, and
Yeah.
yeah. So it's all coming.
And they learn your style. I could see students are just gonna, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of these things that you're presenting, back to my executive functioning question, and then we'll let you go. But all of this requires a lot of management and organization, right? So what do you do with those people? What do you do with the people where where they can't really organize? When you said before, taking pictures on your phone and then where do the pictures go?
Right,
Yes,
right.
that's all of my students.
Yeah, I think the good news is I think a lot of the schools are using Google Classroom, and so that that adds tremendous organization as long as students know how to navigate it. And I think that's an issue too. Is that sometimes I've heard feedback from parents like, oh, Google Classroom, that students don't know what to do. But built into Google Classroom is the calendar. It could visually show the students like when things are due and
Right.
tasks. And so a lot of the schools are really doing it for the students as long as they look in the right places and know where to look.
And I'm also finding, I don't know if you find the same, but especially as students get older, and especially after COVID, when everybody was on Google Classroom so much
Right.
more, the teachers who weren't using it were forced to get really, really good at using it.
Yes.
I feel like it's confusing to parents, but it's not really confusing to students anymore. Like, students can navigate Google Classroom great.
Everything is there. Everything is there. It shows the task, what they need to read. I think, maybe schools need to do a better job of communicating to parents, or
Yes.
maybe do sessions like, let me show you where you can look for, if your child has things that are outstanding or whatever,
Right.
but
Right.
I think that's, the biggest, I've worked with some of the kids that you work with too, and it's like getting them to use it on a consistent basis is just really hard. You could teach them the mechanics, but are they gonna, enter, like you and I, we have an appointment, we open up our iPhone or Android phone and we put it in. They don't do that. And then
No, they don't do that.
And so that's the hard part. It's like, how do you get them to do that? We can model, we can reinforce, but
that's the challenging part.
The nature is not to do it.
Yeah, and that was my question before too, because all these things are amazing, but they do require a lot of everything you just described, right? Like the motivation, the organization to do it.
Yeah.
And I find that kids are, they're so good with technology. So once you find a system that works, then they like navigate it amazing,
Right.
But it is the consistency of using it so that it does become automatic.
Right. And it's got to, they have to have that buy-in. That's they have to find tremendous value in it. If it's more valuable to the parents or the therapist, it's not
Right.
working.
What do you find, just my last question again with these executive functioning people, what do you find is most popular and useful to like disorganized high school students or early college students, like that ADHD executive functioning, the reminders, the calendar, the, note taking, like it's all so overwhelming. What are the things that they find really helpful and easy?
They carry their phone. If you can get them to use their phone somehow. The other thing we didn't talk about was, I often use it a lot is, using, smart assistants like Alexa, for reminders. It's great, because not only will you get an audio reminder, but you also get a notification on your phone as well when that is, when that comes due. So, again, if college students have the ability to, have those devices, they can be really, really helpful,
Yeah. So syncing the Alexa to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I even knew that was a thing. I'm so not I'm so not into these things, but
Oh, it's great. And then, like, I could say, Alexa, set a reminder to take out the garbage this Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay, I'll remind you Thursday at 7 p.m.
That's it.
and then it pops up on your phone also.
Yeah, and then at 7 p.m. I'm going to get a notification that's going to pop. I mean, it will let me know on the device. It will announce it out loud, but then I'll get a text notification.
Amazing.
On my
Very
phone.
cool.
Yeah, I even
Right.
have told kids like to schedule send emails too. Sometimes, as
Yes.
like a way to just prompt you to do something in a low tech kind of way.
Right.
But I
And then
think that, what's going to happen too is if they get, maybe in college when they get appointments using some of the AI, it may automatically be able to, add it to their calendar, in some
Yeah.
way. And some of the universities have some really interesting, their own apps that they use for that. But
yeah, I've seen that on some of the college visits. I've seen that they promote their own like system and everyone has to use it. And they sort of like I had a friend who said their son went to their orientation and basically the entire orientation was just getting kids to remember to check their email, and like they were just indoctrinated into this is the only way the school is going to communicate with you. So you people need to start checking your email.
Right. I mean, I teach at St. Elizabeth University, and we now have something called LifeSafe, which is basically any kind of announcements they come through through that. So that's interesting. So for let me just do this for a second. I'll show you one last thing before we
The email's a problem because I find that they're all texting all the time and like I can't keep track of texts. I mean, it's just now that on iPhone you can mark it unread. I used to hate text because I would read it and then it was like in my mind, out of my mind. So email is so much easier to organize, but kids don't like it.
Yeah. So for, I was saying, I work with, a lot of kids in elementary school and some with, on the spectrum. So this is Clicker, and this is kind of a pretty open-ended application, but you can see that this is for building sentences.
Oh, very cool.
We're collecting shells.
So now, so now the student, now if they can't read it, I'm right clicking and it
Shells.
Oh, wow.
And then it will read it.
Morgan and Harry were collecting shells.
That's great.
Yeah. So, and then, what happens is you can sort of build, I can click on this, like almost like a PowerPoint, so they can build a story based on the pictures and things.
Wow.
Like that,
How do you feel about Kidspiration and Inspiration?
Those are some of my favorite applications. As a matter of fact, I'm actually doing, Inspiration is actually live and well in the UK, and they're marketing it here in the United States. So it's coming back. I'm actually doing 2 webinars for them.
Oh, great.
In the next month. So yeah, they've added some nice features for college students, like referencing and things of that sort to it. So they've updated it.
That's great.
I do a lot of work. Let me just see. I'll show you this.
That's good to know that it's sophisticated enough for college students.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Let me just show you more thing. That. So I'll just show you. So the other program that I use, the one that Inspiration is great because it's on your computer. It's actually an installed application, though they do have a virtual. But I've been using this program called MindMeister, which is basically a web-based app. So you can use it on a Mac, PC, Chromebook, even your iPhone or Android phone, which is nice. And if I open this, so one of the really one of the big features with Inspiration was the ability to go from the mind map to the outline, and So you can see this is the mind map, and then if I go over here, I can click and I can go right to an outline. So this is what's nice about this is it's totally accessible from anywhere. You can log into a library computer with your credentials and start using it. So
That's great.
It's really nice. So there's some alternatives for online mapping.
Is this one free?
You can try it out. They'll give you 5 mind maps for free. So if you wanted to work with one of your clients, you can do that and see the value. And what's nice is you can attach, videos, audio, all kinds of information to it as well. So I use this program to drive my when I teach online with my students. I use this instead of PowerPoint to drive my lectures and my content and things of that sort, because you can embed it very easily in Google Classroom and things like that.
You can. Yeah. Very cool.
Those cool. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. And I usually send people to you directly, and then I also recommend your blog because I always say I can't keep up with all the technology, so I've
been doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. I just did a couple of newsletters using another tool about maybe some things to think about for students going back to college.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. So are those usually on your website? Is that a good place to?
I've been doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn and Facebook, actually.
Okay, so I'll recommend them.
Yeah,
I'll send them there then.
Yeah, or if you want, they feel free to email me, and glad to answer any questions or send them information.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, Brian. We really appreciate it. And I will share the recording with my staff. There's so many good ideas for us as well, but definitely for the students. I think most people don't even know that all of these things are out there, and it's specifically the academic applications that I think you're so good at communicating. So that's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great. It was nice. Good to see you. And actually, I officially registered for the Montclair study group. So hopefully I'll be able to get to more.
Yes, I'm always registered, and then I go like half the time. I'm always in the group. Thank you so much, Brian.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.